Hey there, lady. My name is Molly Conley, and I'm devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives, whether that's after divorce, dating on and off the apps, or in their committed relationship. Why? Because I've been there. I'm a former college athlete who filed for divorce 3 years into marriage, swam in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and now I am married to the man of my spreadsheet dreams who I met 4 months before the world shut down. As a dating and relationship coach, I help my clients shift the focus from being obsessed with finding Mr. Right to shifting to herself as Miss Right Now. We build a foundation filled with clarity, connection, and confidence, knowing she is worth waiting for. Each week on the podcast, I'll bring you love life insights and savvy guests, where you will receive the courage to release programmed limiting beliefs. Discover patterns and behaviors restricting you from finding and attracting quality men, and ways to choose yourself first so you can build a foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and a partner. Hey, lady, you're listening to the Reinventing the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Molly. I'm a former Division II college swimmer, a donut lover, a solitude enthusiast, and your bona fide hype woman. Oh, and I'm a dating and relationship coach for overachieving women. Why? Because I want to turn my lessons into your successes, from one high achiever to the next. I've been married twice, obviously divorced once, and I swam in the online dating pool in my late 30s. Oh, how fun. Whether you're single and ready to mingle, looking for a serious relationship, or just wanting to work on the most important relationship of them all, the one you have with yourself, I will help you find what's right for you right now. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. A few weeks ago, I started a dating and relationship Ask Me Anything on Instagram stories. And a member of the Reinventing the Arena community asked me to explain the quote unquote, when you know theory. I could have gone on and on about this, but I decided to roll it into a podcast episode. So today I'm combining the quote unquote, when you know, with spotting green flags and how being a high achiever can make all of it confusing. So when I was a kid or maybe even a teenager, I would ask my parents how they met and how they knew each of them was the one. And so my mom would start telling me this story with a little bit of like glimmer in her eyes. And at the end, she would say, I just knew. When you know, you know. To be honest, I hated this answer. It was so vague and so unhelpful. But as I got older, it became the line I heard more and more adults say. And it's something that needs to be explained a little bit more. So let's break this down. When you know implies that you go with your gut or your intuition has guided you there. But to use your gut or your intuition, you need to have a few things figured out, honestly. You need to have self awareness of yourself, of others, reality, and your inner blocks. You have to be able to challenge your inner blocks to make sure your decisions aren't influenced by the people and world around you. You have to be disciplined, which comes from showing up repeatedly, no matter if you want to or not. With the discipline, you have developed integrity and trust in yourself. With the discipline, integrity, and trust in yourself, you've probably created boundaries for yourself that will help you get to the desired outcome, which is finding love. Throughout all of this, you learn what you want, but mostly you learn what you don't want first. Then we learn even more about ourselves during this process, as well as other life transitions and experiences. And when we go through tough moments, we see how the people in our lives show up for us. All of these things start to show us what we really want and need in a relationship. Think about it. You're probably not the same person you were when you graduated college. Usually, the person you dated back then wouldn't even be appealing to you right now. So, the more you learn about yourself and do the inner work, you'll be able to know if the relationship has real potential. Basically, you're learning about and creating your self-concept. Your self-concept is how you see yourself, but mostly it's made from a combination of our past identities and the influences around us. Our brain's confirmation bias works to keep us in our pre existing beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us. Plus, it's comfortable and it's easy, and we love comfort and ease. Our brains are programmed to do that with our lessons and our habits. So, let's say you want a serious relationship, but you keep attracting men who want to have just some fun on the weekends. You have to go back to your first concept of what a serious relationship is. How did your parents manage their relationship? What did they tell you about serious relationships? Or is it the word serious? What images does the word serious bring up? Or it could even be the relationship between the words serious and fun. They could be at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And before I go any further, I want to bring up something that, I should probably say in almost every podcast. Every person sees themselves as the main character of their own movie, their own life. They see the world in front of them through their own set of lenses, and what they have viewed through their lens is interpreted by what they have been told and taught over time. I will say that again. And what they have viewed through their lenses is interpreted by what they've been told and taught over time. With that said, whatever your parents taught you about relationships is what they learned and saw through their own set of lenses. You always have the choice to learn from a different lens. All right, let's take a quick break to hear about one of my favorite beverages, Moment. When I get back, we'll be diving headfirst into the when you know green flags. Okay, so it's no surprise, but I love sharing personal stories with you ladies, and this one includes a product. In 2021, I tried Dry January for the first time, and it was tough. Fast forward to 2022, and I thought it was going to be easier, but it wasn't. I couldn't find anything, literally anything that tasted good to replace my favorite cocktail or glass of wine. So for months, I was still looking because I wanted something to replace the beverage whenever I wanted. Then Moment appeared, and I fell in love. It's a botanical water, either still or sparkling, with no artificial flavors, no caffeine, and no added sugar. Instead, they have refreshing fruit flavors, healthy botanicals, and adaptogens. Some of my favorite flavors are blueberry ginger, spiced mango, and blood orange. I always keep them on hand for those nights when I like to sip a cocktail or have a glass of wine, but rather not deal with any of those side effects of alcohol. You know what I'm talking about: the headache, the dehydration, the horrible night's sleep, the hangover, and whatever else may come your way. If you're looking for an alcoholic replacement for Dry January or just because, check out Moment. Here's some fun facts: 1% of all their sales goes to mental health nonprofits, and they were on Shark Tank. If you want to give them a try, use my promo code Reinventing the Arena at checkout for 15% off. The link is in the show notes. All right, now I'm back. Let's dig into these green flags. First and foremost, your self concept is going to skew your green flags. For example, let's say a green flag for your mom was a man who had a high paying job, like a doctor. That's not a green flag. That's a characteristic of a job. A job and money can be gone in an instant. So before you really start to identify what you want in a relationship, take a look at what you've been told are green flags by those around you. Some of those might include, he's a nice person. Great. A dog can be nice. He can make me laugh. So can a comedian. Those are not green flags either. I would say the next few are my critical top 3 green flags when it comes to a serious relationship. Number 1, they know what they want in a respectful way. I'm not talking about the guy who says he wants you or your number when you're out on a Saturday night. I mean a man who has a tentative idea of where he wants to go in his life and has taken action to back it up. He's learning from a mentor at work because he wants a promotion or to develop a new skill. He's staying in one weekend a month because he's saving for a down payment for a house. He's on a dating app that allows for expansive word count so he can elaborate who he is and what he's looking for in a serious relationship. A man who knows what he wants, partnered with the other two green flags I'm going to be sharing, will be able to communicate respectfully his needs and desires. He will also be able to tell you if you're not a good fit for him without dragging it out, ghosting you, or making you feel like shit. And honestly, you will thank him later for telling you it's not going to work. It's going to save you time and heartbreak. Number 2, you both can live your own lives. Now, this might sound contradictory for what you want in a serious relationship, but hear me out. When you're in a relationship, it's not healthy to be glued to the hip. I've done it, and it's not only exhausting, but your identity becomes one. You basically become extremely codependent. A green flag would be a man who supports your personal goals, your personal growth, hobby, your individuality, and your relationships outside of just the two of you. A girl's trip for the weekend, no problem. Wanting to go paddleboarding for the day, have fun. Accepting a promotion at work, sweet, let's celebrate. This makes it easier for both of you to have happiness and fulfillment outside of the relationship. Plus, you can bring up a new conversation or activity that helps you two grow together. Number 3, in my opinion, this is the most important one of them all. He has a very high level of self-awareness. Once you find a man with a high level of self-awareness, and you have high level self-awareness as well, you can grow together and learn from each other. He is aware of his emotions, behaviors, fears, hopes, and dreams. He's aware and acknowledges how his actions affect others, and he's not afraid to communicate or show them. His self-awareness develops self-acceptance when he realizes that he might be contributing to issues in the relationship. He has been reflecting on his life experiences so he can be more intentional about what he wants in a relationship. So now you might be thinking, Molly, these sure sound great, but I'm a high achiever. There has to be more. Don't worry, I got you. From one high achiever to the next, remember? So being a high achiever is great for your career, but it can be exhausting in your relationships. The green flags I previously mentioned might seem, too subpar for you. You need something more concrete, something more structured. But let's return to the self-concept here. As a high achiever, your self-concept is unique. You're competitive, you're goal-oriented, and you're known to have a workaholic streak. You think that you must be the best at what you do, and if you're not, at least you're in a group of those who do their best. You think you can be anything you want, and you focus on taking action to get there. You mainly feel self-worth through accomplishments and achievements, but those moments are really short-lived. Basically, you have a constant need to feel successful because you've been taught that's what it's all about. And more often than not, you're unable to connect with others deeply through vulnerability because it would expose your true self and leave you looking weak or less than. But how does this relate to the confusion with green flags in relationships? Well, as a high achiever, you have different, what I would say, standards. Everything you are up until this moment is a combination of all your experiences, hopes, dreams, and desires to keep you pushing to the next level. Yet, some people are okay with where they are. And if you end up dating or even marrying someone who's okay with a status quo, you might have a problem. Even though it's doable, it takes effort on both sides to really smooth out a path for the high achiever to let the other person achieve in their own way and their own methods. High achievers have the tendency to be people pleasers, have imposter syndrome, and deal with perfectionism. You can take your own expectations and overlay them on the ones you love without even noticing it. Being a high achieving woman isn't bad, but you have to figure out what you want, what your life vision to be first. Figuring this out will help you spot the green flags you're looking for in a relationship. As you create your life vision, just look ahead, the next 5 or maybe even 10 years max, and ask yourself, what type of person would you want to be standing next to you during some pivotal life moments? What characteristics would he have on top of the green flags? Getting your high achiever in check and aligned with your vision will allow you to find a relationship where you are walking hand in hand with someone who has similar values, goals, and a vision for the future. And just like that, we're at the end of the episode. All right, lady, I will chat with you next week.